the tweet that went around the world, the image that went around the world was, this is a picture of the UK Prime Minister calling for a permanent culture of austerity. Seriously, look at the photo. Of course, he's saying this in total splendor, surrounded by gold chairs and gold goblets. And here is a picture of his audience. As you see, everybody looks resplendent in their finery. And he was calling right there for a permanent culture of austerity. What he really means is this permanent culture of 0% interest rates.
Well, Cameron is the London whale.
Yeah.
I think that picture proves it. This guy Keiser, who is the former FOMC participant who's now blowing the whistle on the central banking system, he's doing a Tony Blair. Remember, after Tony Blair murdered, by some estimates, by the Lancet, 1 million innocent Iraqis, he went to Jesus. He became a Catholic. He went to the Pope and said, I'm ready to join Jesus, and please absolve me from my genocide. That was Tony Blair's appeal to the Pope. Now this guy, Keiser, wants to say the same thing. I was participating in $1.6 trillion worth of financial terrorism, and I murdered people when I was at the Federal Open Market Committee. Will Jesus have me now, Pope? Pope, will Jesus have me now? And the Pope is saying, hey, dudes, guess what? According to the Bible, you should strap a rock onto your neck and jump in the river and go down and swim with the fishes, because you're a sinful, guilty.
Again, you paraphrase, of course, what the Pope
No, that's what the Pope says. On the internal documents over at the Vatican, which I've seen, he's saying, Tony Blair's a frickin'
Also in the news this week was Mark Carney, the head of the Bank of England here, and he said house price rises are actually just a reflection of people's expectations of higher wages in future. Utter bollocks, says Nick Trace. Of course, we know that's not true because for 40 months straight, incomes in the UK have been declining after inflation, which is running at 2.7% or 2.2% now. Wages were up 0.7%. So as you see, they're losing out to inflation.
Mark Carney is, he just lies, basically. He lies. He's full of, lies. He's saying that house prices are going up because people expect house prices to go up. He doesn't mention the fact that he's running the Bank of England printing press at full tilt, that he wants to take bank assets from 400% of GDP to 900% of GDP, that he's in league with the terrorists, okay? Again, I hate to, belabor the point, but if you look up financial terrorists in the dictionary, there is a picture of Mark frickin' Carney with a hockey puck stuck to his forehead and a big, a kielbasa, dangling from his lip, or whatever it is they eat up there in Canada, maple sugar. What is it up there?
Well,
ganja?
Well, yeah, he says that British people expect their wages to increase, not just their house prices. Now, all of this stuff is talking
Why would he say they expect their wages to increase?
That's what I asked you.
But because there's no basis to expect their wages to increase. It's like you just said about Saudi Arabia. If they want the wages to increase for people living in Saudi Arabia, they pump more oil. Does that make the wages in Saudi Arabia go up? No. If Mark Carney pumps more money at the Bank of England, wages don't go up because there's no connection. There's no connection. You need to go to the hospital, buddy, and have your brain surgery because whatever that puck was that severed the cerebellum in such a way is you can't even think straight.
Well, speaking of oil, we're also going to connect to the back door that Andrew Hussar says was provided a backdoor bailout to Wall Street. There are, of course, backdoors installed throughout the internet. And remember, we have all this NSA spying, well, connected to this permanent austerity for the peasants and a largesse for the top. Australian spy agency helped BHP negotiate trade deals. BHP Billiton is, of course, the largest resource company in the world. They produce all sorts of minerals, resources, oil. BHP was among the companies helped by Australian spy agencies as they negotiated trade deals with Japan, a former Australian Secret Intelligence Service officer said. They also spoke to a former diplomat for Australia, Professor Gregory Clark, and he confirms that business information is a main target for intelligence agencies. The targeting is also highly corrupting since the information could be passed on selectively to cooperative firms, often firms that provide employment and cover for spy operatives.
Right. I mean, the world's population is overrun with crooks, spies, banking terrorists, and corporate espionage fools, right? So You know, who cares if a few thousand of them blow up on any given day? Okay, Stacy Herbert, thanks so much for being on the Keiser Report. This has got a time to go.
I'm going to go check out those cement shoes at Harry's of London.
I think you'd look fine in a pair of cement shoes like that. All right, stay tuned for the second half, a whole lot more.